I was dating someone for a few months, and we'd made a stupid decision the night before. And back then, to get Plan B, you had to go to the doctor. You couldn't just like buy it off the counter.
I found out I was pregnant in my 11th year in high school.
Well, I was 18 years old. I had just graduated high school.
And then they made me wait for like an hour, and they came back and said, yeah, we actually can't give you Plan B because you're already pregnant.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified.
I was going in specifically for one thing and coming out with a polar opposite of what I was prepared for.
Well, I never took a pregnancy test. Woke up one morning and was just, I know I'm pregnant. I was 14.
And then I just cried really, really hard.
It was not okay. And my mom tried to force me into aborting my pregnancy.
And it was like, well, yeah, if that ever happens, but I'll just do that. And for the life of me, I couldn't.
I wasn't willing to abort.
And that just wasn't my route. And that was okay that it was others, but it just wasn't mine. Could I be a single mom? Could I do this?
And I said, nope, I'm gonna keep them. I'm good. I can do this on my own. I've got my parents' support.
When I started thinking about how I was going to provide for this child, being in high school.
And I just kind of played out 5 years from then what I would want my child's life to look like.
I just realized it doesn't matter how much support I have. Like, you can give a baby all the love, but if you can't actually financially support a baby, then you've already lost.
And it was like, okay, can you give them that right now? And the answer was no.
I knew that I had to do better for my child and put them before myself.
But I knew at 14 that I couldn't provide for a child. I couldn't provide for myself. I just came to the conclusion that there was somebody better to raise him. There was a family out there that could give him what I couldn't.
A girlfriend of mine said, what about adoption? I thought about that, and I knew nothing about it. I really had this persona, this idea of adoption as being, you're a failure, it's shadowed in shame, you're dropping your child off on someone's doorstep, and the government is going to find them a home, and you'll never see them again. All of those things, that was all I knew about adoption.
It's not a decision that I made overnight, and I really allowed myself to think about everything.
I didn't know anyone that I could call.
I wanted them to know that they were loved and not, placed and forgotten about.
I just thought there's a family out there that is ready and older, and they're already in their careers and they're ready for a baby. They have that hole where I have the power to be able to fill that void that they're feeling. So why would I not do that?
And then I literally Googled adoption agencies and found adoption options. It was kind of like the light switch went on. I just felt like I was in this hole of, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then suddenly the lights came on, and there was this community of people, and there were these families that wanted children. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a family for my son, and I found that.
People, they automatically assume when you get pregnant as a teenager, you're sleeping around, you're a slut. Can I say that? Can I say that? They assume the worst of you.
And it was the opposite. It was, I met with an amazing social worker, and she was so compassionate and understanding and not remotely judgmental. She'd actually been through the same scenario. So it was speaking to someone for the very first time in the whole experience that was like, I got you. I know what you're going through, and it's gonna be okay.
Think about what's gonna be best for you and your baby. Don't listen to anyone else. Don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to your parents about this. This is your decision. You got pregnant. Now it's your choice, your baby.
And there's never any pressure placed on you as a birth parent, which I think is the most important thing. When I thought of open adoption, I didn't really know what that meant at first.
I couldn't even wrap my head around the fact that I could have a child, give him the life that he wants, although it's not in the capacity of me every single day, and be a part of that and get to watch that. That was incredible. I didn't believe it.
So it's amazing to see someone who's like you, that has such a different upbringing, that turns into such a different person than I could have ever made him into, right? Like he's grown into a great child, a great person, a great soul.
But she knows that she's loved by double the people in this world that she would have been. She knows that she grew in my tummy, but God picked her parents especially for her.
Oh, they were just so amazing. So we were really close. I ended up having to have a C-section, and the adoptive dad made me laugh so hard in the hospital, I almost had to get my stitches taken out and redone because he popped like half of them out. I was laughing so hard. So they made the process just so much more smooth and just trusting. And I remember when they walked into the hospital room and held him for the first time, I just remember thinking like he was always meant for them. They were just so natural, and they were a family the second they walked into that room. Look at parenting, look at the pros and cons of it. If abortion is something that you're thinking about, then look at that, look at the pros and cons, and then take a minute and look at adoption too. And adoption isn't for everyone, but if it is for you, it's going to be an amazing journey.
It's like your heart is missing, right? It's like it just went away with somebody. You don't feel like you're ever gonna get past it. You don't know if it's possible to get past it. I mean, there was months that I didn't sleep and I couldn't eat. I didn't know how to smile. I was lost.
So yes, right now you are 19, you are terrified, and you can't give that child everything that you want. But guess what? 10 years from now, you will be. You're gonna have your own family. That's what I held on to.
You are not alone, and your life is not going to end. You have options, and yeah, even if you don't choose adoption, you are still going through all of the same things that all of us young girls were going through when we were pregnant, and you're just as strong as us.
It takes time, but eventually you learn. It's scars, right? It's just a scar, and it still hurts sometimes, but it gets better.
So I got pregnant at 16 and I'm now 24. I have a career that I'm set in. I finished university. Life goes on and it gets a lot easier to deal with. The pain never goes away, but you find ways to cope with it.
We're a tight-knit community, and you are loved and you're being thought about, and you are strong.
You're walking into a room and it's pitch dark and you have no idea what it's gonna look like when those lights come on. You have no frame of reference. Nobody can tell you. You just gotta do it, and you gotta do it by yourself. And you just have to trust and believe that it's gonna be okay. And I'm telling you, 10 years later, those lights are on, and I don't ever wanna leave that room. Ever. I love it. It's the most spectacular part of my life, hands down.